What's good? What's poppin'? Let's talk about NXT for June the 13th, 2023. Another solid episode of NXT. Really good stuff. I thoroughly enjoyed the vast majority of this episode. Once again, very good stuff from Shawn Michaels. It seems like he's starting to find his groove, and NXT just keeps on getting more solid each and every week. So we kicked the show off with the first match of the night. Tyler Bate and Wes Lee and Mustafa Ali versus Schism, which is Joe Gacy, Rip Fowler, and Jagged Reed. So that was the six-man tag. It was your typical spot fest match, basically. There was a big brawl, and then everything got underway. But in the end, Tyler Bate gets the win for his team via the Tyler Driver 97. So there's that. Post-match, Joe Gacy was upset. He was shocked that he lost. So I don't know what they're going to do with Schism. I really don't. I thought that maybe Ivy Nile was going to get involved in this, but that wasn't the case here. So I have no idea what's next for Schism. Who knows? Maybe they might get called up to the main roster, which probably will happen. I think that would be the best way to go about things, is just to bring those guys up on the main roster. You can have more factions on the main roster, which is always a good thing. Maybe put them on Raw. Have them kind of combat Judgment Day, I guess. I don't know. Moving on. So, we see Thea Hale going over last week's Battle Royal win with Drew Gulak and Troy Dempsey. So, they find criticism despite the win. They ask Thea about facing Cora Jade tonight and then offer to train more. Duke Hudson is seen grading more papers now. He asks Thea if she can go train without her chaperone and says she can. So Duke calls Andre Chase and apologizes for all the voicemails, but he wants an update on Andre's recovery and says things are getting out of hand here. Which actually does make sense, because I've been wondering myself what has happened to Andre Chase. I don't know. He could be injured. That's the only thing I'm kind of getting out of all this, that he very well could be injured. I don't know. I know that he was supposed to be called up to the main roster, but that wasn't the case. So, who knows? But then again, my stance on all of this is that the whole Chase U stuff hasn't been the same since WWE released Buddy Haywood last year. And it hasn't been the same since. Thea and Duke and Andre have been serviceable characters, but that whole gimmick and everything was supposed to get over Buddy Haywood. And then hopefully he can come back. You never know. So hopefully he does find his way back to WWE. I know he's done a couple of stuff on the indies, I believe, and I think he has done a little bit of AEW Dark stuff before it got blew up. Before they got rid of it. So we could see a potential return for one Buddy Haywood, maybe. Hopefully. moving on. So, this was great right here. Bron Breakker, my boy. So he gets on the mic. So fans begin to sing Seth Rollins' song, the OOO stuff, the whoa, all that. So Bron talks about how he made headlines last week for calling out Seth Rollins and beating up Ilja Dragunov. Bron says it's all about accountability, and everyone around here will be held accountable. Bron wonders where Seth Rollins is. Dragunov comes out for a fight, but officials hold him and pull him back. And then Rollins finally appears on the big screen and says, getting a title shot doesn't work like this. But he likes Bron's approach. Seth says he's been in Bron's spot before, and it would be nice to go back to where it all began. Rollins says he will he will bring his title to NXT next week and defend against Bron Breakker. Rollins laughs, and then Bron has kind of a sinister smile on his face, and the fans continue to sing his song. So this was great. I enjoyed it. This was absolutely tremendous. A step in the right direction. But I kind of think what they're going to do is Ilja may get involved, and it might lead to like another contest. And I think that they could probably run this back maybe at the Great American Bash to kind of get that event over. I don't know. That's what I was thinking they were going to do, is kind of like just build on this for a while. But that's not the case. But they always could circle back to that. And I think that's something that could possibly happen. I hope it does, because that would make more sense. Seth Rollins versus Bron Breakker for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship at the Great American Bash. That would be tremendous right there. And it would get a lot of eyes on the product that way. Versus, instead of just, popping a decent number on a random episode of NXT. But that's what I would do if I was booking things. But I'm fine with this nonetheless. Next, moving on, we get a Dana Brooke hype video where she warns NXT Women's Division. Dana's backstage with Mackenzie Mitchell. Dana says she will be in NXT as long as they'll have her. She talks about how she loves being in the ring, and she's always been a fighter, busting her ass, and now she's home. Cora Jade shows up. They have some words. Dana says, blame yourself for last week's loss, not me. And then Cora Jade ends up slapping Dana and walking off. So that's pretty cool that they're starting up a little potential feud between Cora Jade and Dana Brooke. And I like Dana Brooke. She's fine. She should have been in NXT a long time ago, honestly. She was there once before. But her going back is fine. She didn't really do anything on the main roster as much. She was just Charlotte's lackey. If you go back to maybe, I want to say 2016 or 2015, something like that. She was just, Charlotte's coattail, piggybacking off of Charlotte. And then her and Mandy Rose had a little small tag title, run, or, run as a team for a little bit. So, there's that. Hopefully, speaking of Mandy Rose, hopefully she does come back. I miss Mandy Rose. I really do miss Mandy Rose. I think she'll be back in WWE. I really do. I don't know when she'll be back, but she'll be back. She's been gone since January. So, I do think she'll be back. I do. I don't see her going to AEW. I just don't. I'm going to put that out there. I really don't, because AEW's women's division, it needs a lot of work. Even if they get Mercedes Moné, it's not going to matter. That women's division just needs a ton of work, And It's just it's something that's off with the women's division in AEW. Like, even Impact's women's division is better than AEW's. And I'm being real when I say this. Like, no bullshit at all. Like, Impact has a really solid women's division. They've always had that be their backbone of their company. Moving on. So, for whatever reason, Tyler Bate and Wesley and Mustafa Ali, they're all backstage celebrating. Ali gets them to agree to a North American title match next week with Ali as a special guest referee. This is perfect. I hope that either Ali turns heel or Tyler Bate turns heel, because that's what needs to happen here. I think that if Ali turns heel, that's fine. But I'm also fine with Tyler Bate turning heel, because he needs it. Tyler Bate needs a definite heel turn. The guy's been babyface for about, 5-6 years? It's time for him to turn heel. It's time. Go ahead and pull that damn trigger. Pull it. It's time. So hopefully next week, either Mustafa Ali or Tyler Bate will turn heel. It has to happen. It needs to happen. Next, Thea Hale versus Cora Jade. Dana Brooke gets involved towards the end of the match. So Dana shoves Cora Jade into the steel steps, and then that allows for Thea Hale to lock in the Kimura lock takedown for the win. So that's fine. Again, this is more fuel to the fire to a startup feud with Cora Jade and Dana Brooke. That should be fine. Moving on. So we get a video package hyping up the NXT Heritage Cup. Nathan Frazer shown walking with Dragon Lee. That's fine. And then Noam Dar is with his crew. Continuing on. So NXT Gold Rush is like a 2-week special. So week 1 will be headlined by Bron Breakker versus Seth Rollins. Week 2 will be headlined by Carmelo Hayes defending his title against either Baron Corbin or Ilja Dragunov in week 2. So that's pretty cool. They should get a good rating for both weeks, for, back-to-back weeks. It should be a solid rating. I think with those 2 episodes for both weeks, they should get in the 600s. Like a strong 600, maybe 650. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's doable, So this leads us into Nathan Frazer versus Oro Mensah. So, Noam Dar is on crutches and says he can't defend tonight because they attacked him in the parking lot. So he's hurt. So Dar announces that Oro Mensah will defend the cup for him tonight. So this leads us into Nathan Frazer versus Oro Mensah. Nathan Frazer gets the win. He wins via the Springboard 450 for the 1-2-3. And he is the new NXT Heritage Cup champion. Who cares? It's not really that important. Who really gives a shit? Who cares? I'm pretty sure there'll be a rematch at some point. It'll probably be Noam Dar versus Nathan Frazer, probably at the Great American Bash. How much you want to bet on that? Or at some point in July. Moving on. So we get a really good video package involving Lyra Valkyria. Lyra says she almost won the NXT Women's title at Battleground. She goes on about how she will overcome great odds and will continue to raise herself from defeat and soar over the battlefields of NXT. So JC, Jane, and others are watching Lyra's video in the locker room. Elektra Lopez and JC Jane have a couple of choice words with each other. Then Lola Vice walks up. Oh, wait, that's my girl. Lola Vice. She walks up and she dismisses JC Jane. And then Lola tells Elektra Lopez she doesn't like many people, but she likes Lopez. And then Lopez agrees and then says that they should stick together. I like this. This is absolutely beautiful. And that was from Cat Dog from years ago. Remember when Cat always used to do the beautiful? I love that. I love me some Cat Dog. But this is absolutely great. I'm hoping that they do become a tag team, but there's no tag titles anymore in NXT. They're going to get absorbed into the main roster, which sucks. Let's be honest. Continuing on, Mr. Stone and Von Wagner, they're backstage talking about Von's therapy sessions. Von says he is seeing his therapist a lot, so Dijak walks by and tells Stone to get with a real winner. They have some words, and Dijak goes on. Von tells Stone he's done talking about therapy, and Stone asks why he hasn't talked about the baby photo in therapy, and who does he want to discuss the photo with? Von says it's always been Stone. So I guess there's some kind of tension here, I would imagine. I wouldn't be shocked if maybe we see a heel turn from Robert Stone, where he aligns himself with Dijak, possibly, and maybe screw over Von. Because I do see that, happening, where he does, side with Dijak, saying that Von, I tried to work with you and everything else, and you wanted to do your own thing. You didn't give a shit about anyone but yourself. I could see that happening. What I wish didn't happen was the 2-on-1 handicap match between Axiom and Scripps versus Davocado. And the fact that Axiom won made me want to absolutely destroy my television. This pissed me off to the highest degree. Why? Axiom got the win via the golden ratio. Shawn Michaels, what the hell are you doing? Bro, I know you hate big guys, but come on, man. Seriously? This makes zero sense at all. What was great was the post-match angle. So, post-match, Axiom and Scripps, they stand tall for a second. Then out comes my boys, Angel and Humberto Carrillo. So they beat down Axiom and Scripps. So Los Lotharios is in NXT, and I'm loving every single bit of this. This is absolutely great. Tremendous stuff here. I am so excited that Los Lotharios is here. Perfect. I could damn sure see them being tag team champions too. And they got a really good reaction when they came. They got a really good reaction. Great stuff. Moving on, so Stacks, he's backstage with a whiteboard trying to figure out who set up Tony D and put him in jail. He settles on Gallus and says he needs to get even more. He needs to get even, not angry. And he needs to get Tony out of prison. Okay, so I'm digging this. I still think that this is all a setup by Stacks. I think that he might have been the one to screw over Tony D. So I'm still going with my theory that maybe he's the one who took out Tony D, who put him behind bars. That's just my theory. I'm going to go with it. I'm sticking with it. Moving on. Idris NFA versus Malik Blade. Malik Blade gets the win. via a roll-up. Who cares? Not important. So, post-match, NFA and Blair, they shake hands and then hug after showing they know more about each other. So, Briggs and Jensen and Hank and Tank, they come out celebrate with him. Booker T stands up to announce that these three teams will face each other. Will face off on Gold Rush next week, and the winners will challenge Gallus on week 2. And then all three teams start brawling, and then we see Los Lotharios looking down on the platform above the crowd. So, Kelly Kincaid asks why they have come to NXT. Angel says there's a lot of excitement in NXT, and they want to be a part of it. So, I'm sold on this. I'm glad. This is great. I like Gallus, but man, I love me some Los Lotharios. They need to be the next NXT Tag Team Champions. It has to happen. It has to happen. And I think that Shawn Michaels will allow that to take place. Moving on, so Damon Kemp is backstage showing the referee how he got screwed in his loss against Eddie Thorpe last week. The ref apologizes. Eddie Thorpe shows up and says, and he has some words with Damon Kemp. Eddie Thorpe tells Damon Kemp if he has any, Thorpe tells Kemp he can have any kind of match he wants. Just name it. Kemp says he'll think about it. Oh boy, this sucks. Again, I'm not a big fan of Eddie Thorpe. Send him back to New Japan or put him in Impact or MLW, something. He's just not clicking with me on NXT television. I don't like him. I really don't. Moving on. We get a vignette from Blair Davenport. She brags about derailing the future of the women's division all by herself. She shows us where she took out Nikita Lyons, Wendy Chu, and Soruka. Davenport's route to the top is much easier, and she sends a warning to Roxanne Perez, saying her time is coming. So this leads us into Roxanne Perez versus Tatum Paxley. Roxanne Perez gets the win via the Pop Rocks. Post-match, Roxanne Perez cuts an awful promo saying she's not afraid, and she's on the hunt for Blair Davenport. Okay, I'm fine with this little mini feud right here. This actually makes sense. We'll probably get this match, I want to say, maybe at Gold Rush. Maybe week 2. If not, I could see us getting this maybe at the Great American Bash. I mean, you got to build these things up. I wouldn't just rush into these things, but hopefully we'll get these things at the Great American Bash. Moving on, so Gigi, Dolin, and Fallon Henley are backstage, bonding over their hatred for Kiana James. Fallon Henley tells Gigi to watch out because James is a snake. Fallon walks off. And then Gigi mutters something to herself and says she'll make sure Kiana James understands why you don't mess with a reject. So I like that little story developing between the two. Nice little feud there. Moving on, we get a video hyping up Numa, and Lucian Price, and how they got together. They say they have each other. And that's all they need. People tried to keep them apart, but they're still together, and NXT is not ready for them. So that's fine. I don't know who these guys are. I think they may have been a team on Level Up. I don't know. But then they're a pretty cool little vignette. A little Crime Time throwback there. I do like that. So much respect for them for doing that. Moving on, this leads us into our main event, which is Ilja Dragunov versus Baron Corbin. So Bron Breakker towards the end of the match comes out. He eats the torpedo headbutt from Dragunov, and then this allows for the torpedo Moscow from Dragunov. This allows for Corbin to hit the end of days. Post-match, Ilja and Bron, they brawl. And then Corbin turns back around. Him and Carmelo, they start to brawl with each other. And then Carmelo hits the nothing but net. And Carmelo puts his foot on Corbin's chest and raises the title in the air. And then NXT goes off the air. So, this was fine. I enjoyed this episode very much. It was pretty good stuff for the most part. I'm excited a little bit for Gold Rush week 1 and week 2. I think that both shows should be good if done right. This was a very solid episode once again of NXT. They've been giving us a lot of these as of late, and I'm all for it. There's a couple of feuds I'm looking forward to. Blair, Davenport, Roxanne, Perez, Gigi, and Kiana James, as well as Cora Jade and Dana Brooke. So, it's a lot to be desired in NXT. And I'm actually excited for Seth Rollins versus Bron Breakker. I do think that'll be a no contest. And they'll probably drag that out to possibly the Great American Bash. But what do you guys think? Let me know. Please hit the like button, comment down below, and subscribe to my videos. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.